opposites in Chalamet, and now it's on my resume. It's not my face they see, cause they don't know me, and that's okay. These are the parts I play, filling in plot holes with all sorts of roles, cause there's no small roles, no small roles, no small roles.
Welcome to No Small Roles. This is the show where I speak with fellow actors about their careers and about some of their smaller roles in big movies and TV, and how these roles are in fact not at all small for the actors who play them. Now, today's guest is my friend Michael Malvesti. He is one of the kindest, most genuine, natural talents that I know. But most importantly, he is a son, he is a husband, he's a father, and my arresting officer in Boston Strangler. That's the most important one of them all.
Of course.
Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm so glad you're on here. Thank you for finally doing it. We had to find this date. So people know you from a few things, and I'm just going to list a few. The Town, Moonrise Kingdom, Castle Rock, City on a Hill, Honest Thief, I Care a Lot, Free Guy, Dexter, The New Blood, Boston Strangler, as I said, The Holdovers, American Fiction, Julia, and the most successful movie of all time, Madam Web.
If you read that list to me about 15 years ago, I have no idea what you were talking about. That's not me.
It's crazy, though. You have booked a lot of the biggest things in recent years that have been in the Boston region. So
I've been very lucky.
What? Well, I think they've been lucky to have you because you're such a, like I said, you're such a natural talent, and you really just fit everything you do. You make the world more real.
I appreciate that. I just mean I'm lucky in the fact that I get to audition for this stuff. That Boston gets this work, because I don't work outside of Boston. I don't at the current time. I don't have an agent or a manager, so I basically only work in the New England area. So I feel we're all very lucky to get this work that comes here, because, rewind 15, 20 years ago, we're lucky if we got 3 movies a year that would film here. So,
well, now we're back to that again.
True.
I mean, well, it's okay. But yeah, no, I want to talk to you more about working in that local. But before we continue, I think you might know I have the very emotional question I like to start with. Are you ready? Do you prefer grilled cheese with or without tomato?
Well, here comes an unpopular answer.
Whoa.
I do not eat grilled cheese.
Let's end this. Let's end this interview now. Bye. Wait, what? Not why?
I tried it once and I wasn't a big fan. I like cheese. I like toast. I've just never enjoyed them together.
Were you a child ever?
For a short amount of time, I was. Apparently, I was a deprived child.
Oh, man. Yeah, you were. I mean, okay, it's cool you like them separately. I just can't imagine. And I'm not judging, but not liking a grilled cheese at all.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just I don't eat grilled cheese. I just don't think I ever ate it when I was younger. And then the opportunity never comes up to eat it as an adult.
I blame your.
I tried it once and and I never went back to it. But I will say that if I was to choose between with or without, I would choose without, because when my eating habits, I don't use ketchup, I don't use mustard, I don't use sauces on anything. I am such a plain eater.
Are you a human?
That's debatable. I may very well be AI.
I think that explains like the whole natural talent thing. I think it's just you are AI and it just comes from all the other things that came before you. Whoa. I blame your parents for the whole grilled cheese thing. If you didn't eat it as a kid, that is on them.
My kids love it.
All right. They're smart because you're a good dad.
See, I told you they have my wife's brains.
Okay, so she's not AI.
as far as I know.
Okay, so you're a smart guy. I'm starting to, I mean, because you do give your kids grilled cheese, unlike your parents did. So you're very intelligent. You live in New England, which some of the best schools in the world are. You don't currently wear glasses, but maybe sometimes you do. So you're smart.
I do wear
But
glasses.
why? Okay, so you're super smart. So why are you an actor?
Exactly. I have always loved watching movies and TV.
Mhm.
Um, growing up, obviously in New England, like we were saying, not a lot of stuff was filmed here. So
Yeah.
growing up, you didn't think about filming stuff. You didn't think about how the stuff was made. You just, I grew up, and I'm sure like you, I grew up with Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Star Wars, all those kind of, Steven
Mhm.
Spielberg, George Lucas. I just fell into those. I was a huge Harrison Ford fan. Anything he was
Mhm.
in, and watching him in, as Han Solo, and then Indiana Jones, then Blade Runner, and then I started to watch other stuff he was in where he
Yeah.
wasn't that kind of iconic character. So then that made me watch movies like Hanover Street and Witness, and stuff
Oh,
where
yeah.
he wasn't, you know, Indiana Jones or Han Solo. So that made me watch other movies, which made me fall in love with watching, stuff rather than the big blockbuster stuff. Um, I got into theater a little bit, and
Okay.
and something that sparked my interest was when I was in middle school. They did an open casting call in my school for the movie Lord of the Flies,
Oh, yeah.
and they picked a bunch of people to audition or to go in front of the casting people, and I wasn't one of them.
That early 90s remake, right? Is that when it was with Balthazar Getty?
I believe so. Yeah, that would have been.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. That would have
Like
been
89 or something,
late
maybe?
late 80s, because
Okay.
I believe I was in seventh or eighth grade, and they came to
Okay.
my school and they did that, and I wasn't one of the ones picked. So automatically, I was like, "Why didn't they pick me?" And that kind of piqued my interest. Like, wait a minute, they're filming stuff here, and then I found out it wasn't being filmed here. They were just looking for talent anywhere they could.
Finding a good kid. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, I was in. I got into the plays. I think I did the play Oliver
Oh, yeah.
um, when I was in middle school, and I auditioned for a bunch. Didn't get any of them, but they asked me to play Oliver's grandfather because when I was in middle school, I
You
was
had that beard.
exactly. So they thought that was weird, and they said, "You're gonna have to play the old guy." I was taller than most of the people in my class. I was about at least a half a foot or a foot taller than them.
Wow.
I was about 6 feet tall when I was in middle school, so they figured I'd be a
Whoa.
good fit to play Grandpa.
Grandpa.
So that was kind of my beginning to theater. And then when I got to high school, I looked into theater, but that's when I was introduced to, high school sports, and I played football, baseball, and basketball.
Were you more drawn towards the sports than the arts, the theater, or I mean, you obviously not. If I did not know you, I would just be like, oh, that's like some sort of like big jock guy, not an artsy fartsy person. That's why I say you're this natural talent where you're so unassuming.
I appreciate it.
But
Yeah.
what was going on in your head? You're like, I want the arts, but I'm going to do this or
Well,
what?
I enjoyed the sports, but I enjoyed the theater when I did it. And like I said, I still loved watching movies and
Mhm.
television, stuff like that. So that was always there, but I never kind of put the two together to actually think I could, uh, do anything to learn how to get into the
Yeah,
films or TV. Because when you're that young and you're doing theater is just whatever play or whatever musical the school was doing at that
sure.
time. So when I went to high school, my father and my grandfather, they were both into sports, and
Mhm.
they're both in the Hall of Fame for sports at the high school I went to. So I
Yeah.
naturally went after that. Um,
Mhm.
and then after high school, when I got to college, that's when I started to look more, because the sports. If I didn't progress in sports, you're not going to play in college. I ended up playing college baseball for
Mhm.
a couple of years, but when I got to college, a couple of the older guys were telling me that they got into the theater at school, and they actually put on the play Reservoir Dogs.
No way. That's
So
cool.
that piqued my interest again. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That was an incredible movie. And you're telling me you guys got to do it on stage. So that got me into theater when I was in college.
And when you were in college, were you obviously you did that, but what were you studying? Were you studying to do
I have
what?
no idea. I was told
Okay.
I had to go to college and figure it out when I got there. So what ended up happening was I wanted to be a communication major
Hmm.
and a business minor just to kind of get my foot in the door to feel things out, see what I wanted to do. They reversed those, but I don't know why. In the paperwork, they got reversed. So they had me as a business major and a comm minor. So I'm like, that's okay. I'll see how these classes are, and then if I don't like it, I'll switch it back.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I couldn't switch it back.
Oh no. And did you
So
like business?
I didn't. I didn't
Okay.
like.
I wouldn't either.
At the time, it was the early '90s. We didn't have the internet like it was today.
Or cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
older than you, so what am I saying?
yes. So they had like I was taking a computer class to learn how to use computers, but the business class had a book this thick
Mhm.
with a book this thick and a computer disk how to explain to read that book. So I'm learning how to use computers, but another class I have to know how to use one. So I said
Oh
this isn't for
God.
me. So I ended up switching to sociology, and
Mhm.
some of the classes that I took were criminal justice with a minor in communications. And then the main goal was I was going to study to be a police officer or a fireman, but I was going to study criminal justice. My father is now a retired police lieutenant.
Oh.
My grandfather and all four of his brothers, well, three of his brothers, they were all fire chiefs in my hometown, and their other brother was a police sergeant. And currently, I have a cousin who's a police officer. My brother is a firefighter in my old hometown, and my other cousin is a firefighter. So naturally,
I believe it.
I was destined to be a police officer or a firefighter. But
And you are. You have been several times, more than anyone in your family. You played them all.
exactly,
So
exactly.
before we continue, I want to just quickly ask you, we have the segment coming up later on the show called The Kiss and Tell, and it's where we share a behind the scenes story of something that impressed you, inspired you, turned you off or whatever. But in one word, can you tease your kiss and tell?
One
Got my
word.
pen.
That word,
Is
I would have to say that word is hat.
hat.
Yes.
Okay, I wrote it down. And if
No.
more stories come up, that's fine. Okay, so you start to study sociology with the thought of potentially becoming a cop or a firefighter. So how do you go from being in that, like what exactly am I doing to being in this? Which I
Well,
don't think was the first one.
funny enough, it does. Well, that was the first big one.
Okay.
And with that, what happened when I was in college, I started writing as well. One of my good friends in college, we started writing a screenplay. And
Mhm.
back then, you'd grab a camcorder and you'd film whatever you could. So we started writing, and when I was a freshman, there was a woman I was friends with who was a senior. She graduated, went away, came back to visit me. One day we were writing, and she said, "What are you doing? You studying for your finals?" I said, "No, we're working on a screenplay." She says, "I have some friends that they write as well. If you need some help, let me know, and maybe I can hook you up." I went to high school with them. I said, "No, we have this. We know what we're doing." So, cut to a year later, she comes back. We never finished that script. She comes back and she says, "You want to grab dinner and a movie?" So we go to the movies after dinner, and it was the movie The Rainmaker.
Oh
So
yeah.
before The Rainmaker, they showed the previews for a movie called Good Will Hunting.
Mhm.
She leans over and says, "My friends wrote this."
No.
And I said, "Ugh."
Oh, she was serious.
So I said, "You didn't tell me that you went to high school with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck." And she says, "You didn't ask." And I was like, "Okay, good point." So when I saw the movie Good Will Hunting, which I believe came out about 6 months after that. That was the greatest thing I had ever seen. Loved it. Took the
Yeah.
ticket stub, put it right in my wallet. This is gonna remind me why I wanna be an actor. They filmed the movie, most of it in Boston, written by 2 Boston kids, starring 3 Boston kids, all filmed there. Well, hey, maybe this can be done here. So, as soon as I saw that, and I was already graduated college when that came out, I went back 8 more times to see that in the theater.
Wow.
It got better every time. So, cut to, I get an audition from CP Casting. Carolyn Pickman calls me
Which
up.
is a local Boston casting for those who don't know.
Yes. She says, "We have an audition for you." I go in, I do the audition. Person there filming it, say my lines, leave. Uh, get a call back saying, they got a call back. The director wants you to read for a different role. So I said, okay. Not at this time, they still haven't told me what it is,
Mm-hmm.
who I'm meeting with. I don't know who the director is. And I get in the room, and lo and behold, behind the table is Ben Affleck. So there's one of 2 reasons why I decided to really go after acting. And I did my lines. He said, "Thank you for coming in." I couldn't say anything then. I was too starstruck.
Yeah.
Exactly, which doesn't happen often. It's only happened twice. That was the first time. So I get a call back saying, a couple weeks later, a week or so later, the director wants you to read for a different part. So I say, great. So this time,
You know who the director is.
exactly, it's Ben, Carolyn, some of the producers, casting associates, guy behind the camera. Walk in, and Ben's talking to me, and looks at my headshot. I don't really smile in my early headshot. They take a Polaroid of you at the first time they see you to see what you look like when you're not all dolled up for your headshot.
Sure.
I'm not smiling in that either. So Ben says, "Hey, Mike, do you have a smile?" So the guy behind the camera says he's smiling right now. I said, "Well, that's because I'm in front of this guy." And Ben's like, "Oh,
Oh.
pour it on, Mike, pour it on." So I say, now or never. This ticket stub's in my wallet for a reason. So I said, well, I said, "You're one of the reasons I got into acting." I said, "The moment I saw Good Will Hunting, I decided this is something that's possible." So I reached into my wallet, I pulled out the ticket stub, and I handed it to him. And he
Oh.
read it. At Good Will Hunting, Kendall Square Cinema, December 26th, 1997. And he goes, "Mike, how am I not supposed to give you a part now?"
Was that sitting in your wallet naturally, or were you like, I'm going to put this in my wallet for this audition?
Like when I saw the movie, the ticket stub went right in my wallet, and it's
Wow.
literally been there ever since, and still is in my wallet. It's faded, but
Sure.
I know what it says, and it will always stay in my wallet.
That is so cool.
So then I went on and I did the scene. Ben gave me direction. After I did the scene, asked me to do it again. I didn't hear a word he said because I was, once again, starstruck. I couldn't believe I just said what I
Had-
said and did that. So I could tell by his reaction I didn't get the part. Stood up, shook my hand, thanked me for coming in. That next day, I sent Carolyn an email and said, "Just want to apologize. There's only 2 people that I would ever do that for in an audition. Usually, I just go in, do the audition, go about my way." And she, thinking she might have been upset, don't know. She got back to me. Said, "No, I thought it was I thought it was sweet.
Oh,
He loved it. He gave you a part. We don't know which one yet.
and
We'll
that's how you
be,
found out?
yep." Well, she
That's
said,
so cool.
we'll be in touch." And then I can't remember how long after that it was. It was a month or so. And they called and said, "You got to be on set Tuesday.
Of
You're
course.
going to be playing an armored car guard." And what it ended up being was he didn't give me the part I auditioned for, but he put me in that scene. He just threw a character in there.
Oh, that's so cool. Just, yeah, that is really sweet. Like, what a good guy. And obviously, you're a good guy. And I'm sure he saw that.
And that,
Wow.
like, I didn't know what to expect. And when I showed up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I said, "Where do I go?" They said, "You got to get fitted for your outfit." Then I said, "When I'm done," they said, "Go to hair and makeup." I went in hair and makeup. And I said, "Now where do I go?" They said, "They go to your trailer." And I said, I'm an extra. I don't have a trailer. I don't have any lines." And they said, "Nope, you have a trailer." And I went, and Ben gave me a trailer. signed the contract. They brought me over to set. Ben was talking to the DP and one of the producers. When I walked in, he stopped what
Yeah.
he was doing, walked over to me, and he went, "Huh? What do you think?"
Oh,
Came over, gave me a big hug, and that just, that was my first big experience on any. That was the biggest thing I had ever worked on till that point, and it just.
what a nice way. What a nice, warm, welcoming way to be segued into this
Exactly.
world.
And the thing I realize is after working in the business for a while, that doesn't always happen. And I realized
No.
how lucky I was to have that experience.
And so rarely happens, but I know from a couple of things we will talk about that you had a couple more of those experiences of lovely sets. Um, where did this, you had this opportunity, obviously this lit, I assume that thing on fire that you're like, oh my God, I need to do this. So
Yes.
where did you go from here?
Well, I started taking as many local classes as I could, because in Boston, unlike New York and LA, in Boston, there's only a few casting places. There's Boston Casting, CP Casting. I believe there was Moritai Casting. Now there's Slate Casting, and I believe there was another one. The name's escaping me, but it's a good opportunity to take classes with them, because they're the ones that cast the movies. Get yourself in front of them, let them see what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not doing what they like, well, you take classes with the people there and they'll tell you what to do. So I just started taking as many classes as I could and getting my face and my name out there. And I wasn't getting auditions for anything, which is
Yeah.
why I feel like I was lucky to get the town. But then I got an audition here, I got an audition there. And it took a while after the town, but then I ended up getting, I think it was another, I did some independent stuff with
Sure.
some friends and through connections through that. And I think the next thing I got was Castle Rock.
Oh, okay. So it was a couple of years
Yeah.
before. I want to say to other people who are watching, maybe from other markets, the Boston market is so unique. And what you were talking about, Michael, of taking classes, trying to get knowing casting closer, it sounds like a sort of a pay to play. If you come in here, pay for our classes, you'll get parts. But Boston is so unique
Yeah.
because people have a one-on-one relationship with casting. Usually in any other market I've worked in,
Yeah.
is you go through your agents and there's always the middleman. Boston is so weird, but I love it that they will reach out to you directly and be like, we have an audition for you, which
Yes. Thank you for saying.
doesn't happen.
Exactly. That's that's exactly what I was getting at. That it's, and you used the right word. It's so unique.
Yeah.
In doing my research, I realized that nobody I knew that was just from here, that didn't venture out to New York or LA. Nobody around here had an agent. Nobody had a
No.
manager. And
And
for
it's
the long,
still not necessary, though it's nice to have one. All
exactly.
due respect to our agents.
Exactly. So that knowing that, I just tried to take as as many classes as I could. And if you don't mind, one quick story I had was,
Please. The more the
um,
merrier.
for the last 20 years, I've been working at a private school on the South Shore. I do like landscaping. I cut grass and shovel snow and all that. And that's the day job that allows me to do this stuff when I get it. And one of the things one day I was cutting the grass on the football field, and I noticed, this was probably 15 years ago when I first started. Even before that, I would cut the grass, and I noticed a guy that would just jog around the track all the time, and he looked familiar to me.
Yeah.
And one day he went by, and I noticed he had a hat on that said "The Company Men." And then I'm like, okay, he's an actor. I didn't know if I knew him from somewhere else, because it's rare you see someone you recognize in film and television just jogging. So
Yeah.
then I realized it was our own Tom Kemp.
Oh, yeah. He
So
was like
one
the
day,
one of the top SAG reps in Boston.
yes, and a fantastic local actor. So one day I stopped him and I started chit chatting with him, and basically, just told him I recognized him, from the movies I had seen him in, and asked him about classes and this and that, and he recommended a couple, and I ended up taking a couple classes with him.
That he was teaching.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
They were, yes, I believe auditioning classes
Okay.
through CP. So that was kind of cool because any job that I've worked since I got out of college, there was something that would film there, and that was tearing me apart. I mean, everything from my first job, a Val Kilmer movie filmed there. And then the next job I moved on to, The Departed, filmed there.
Wow.
One day I'm at work doing my thing, and I look up, and Martin Scorsese standing in front of me, checking out locations. Next place I moved to, the film the Juror. I believe you were in that.
The Judge.
The Judge. I'm sorry, The Judge.
Yeah. Oh no. Hey.
That, and I believe Ted filmed.
Wow. It's like a prep school, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes they would use our location just for base camp, and sometimes they actually filmed there. So that was, and then seeing Tom Kemp going around and talking to him, but the one moment that I loved was after, being lucky enough to get some of these jobs and working for a while, I saw Tom Kemp a while after that, and he just came over and gave me a big hug and basically said, nice job. Like, look at where you were when we met and look where you are now. Basically I'm proud of you. And I was just kind of like, thank you. And here we are years later, I get to see him, and he acknowledged basically without saying it, the hard work that went into going from there and saying, how do I do this? And then getting there to finally getting the auditions and being able to, anything. And I'm sure you're the same way as well. Anything that comes through the area, you're most sure going to get an audition for it.
Yeah, I hope so. If not, I cry. No, but you are so open. You're so available to learn, and you are so supportive of other actors. You're always cheering everyone else on, and you seem so excited about it. And that's really cool that that he was so open to speak with you and encourage you. Yeah. And he's been in Shutter Island, Manchester by the Sea, and some pretty large roles. And I know he also works in New York City and maybe other places. But Tom Kemp he's a good guy, and I'm glad he saw that in you. And you didn't just talk; you actually went for it and did it.
Yep. And he didn't just blow me off, and that was huge. He took the time to talk to me, and that was huge to boost the confidence and being able to move forward.
That's the charm of being in a place like the New England market, because obviously in LA, people are a lot more closed off, and everyone's an actor there. Everyone wants a little piece of someone to get that little step up. And I do know very good people in LA, but it is much more like a competitive, like, I got to protect what I know. And Boston's so nice and open that there were direct contact with casting and actor friends supporting other actor friends. It's so, so lovely. I want to play a few clips to show that you have been more cops and fire people than anyone in your family.
No, I'm not Stag Lee. He doesn't exist. I'm Monk, Thelonious Ellison.
You're a fugitive on the ground now!
No. That was all a marketing gimmick. It was all lies.
He's got a gun!
The Boston Strangler must be caught.
Guess he's got a name now.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Jeannie, how are you? How's the old man doing?
He's still going. Any word on this? They're looking like the others?
Yeah. Left her on the bed. Stockings tied around her neck.
Did it look like he broke in?
No sign of forced entry.
My kid's got nothing to do with this.
We're not gonna hurt your goddamn kid.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
I'm from D Street in South
Nobody cares where you're from.
All I'm saying is I grew up with it.
Hey.
I'm not gonna rat anyone out all my life.
Being held up.
Let me call Mike.
We just walked past Mike. He let us in.
Hey, look, guys, we got a distress call, all right? So who made the call?
Nobody called from here.
I got a visual on the suspect. Light blue Ford Econoline.
Natives are getting restless in here. Like, I can't leave them on the bus all day. What the hell do you expect us to do?
I can't believe you ratted Liam Neeson out. Like, what is that?
He had to be put in his place.
Yeah, I guess so. What does your family think of these kinds of roles that you've played, given, you know, the family history of being in law enforcement and things like that?
Well, my brothers, my older brother, he watches a lot of movies as well. We go a lot. We talk about them a lot. So, I mean, they think it's pretty cool. And if I'm being honest, my kids could care less.
I get it.
Yeah.
I know.
And my wife, she enjoys it, but she hasn't seen much of the stuff I've been in. She wasn't a big movie person. You know, we'd go here and there. She's a school principal, so she has her hands full. But
yes,
when we met, she was never a big movie person. But the thing I like to do is, without her, none of this is possible. You know, for me to be able to take time off of work or, you know, go shoot, because sometimes you're shooting overnights. Sometimes Madam Web was, I think, 2 weeks of overnights. So
nice.
It's
for money.
Exactly. So between that and the day job, without her, none of this stuff gets done. So what's nice is to be able, if I ever get to go to a premiere, to bring her along to the premiere. So, you know, that way she'll get to watch the movie. She'll get to kind of have, you know, dress up, walk the carpet if they can, and kind of, you know, every once in a while get to meet some of the people she does recognize.
Yeah.
You know, she's not a big movie person, so she doesn't know a lot of the people, but you know, they like it. But the biggest thing is they allow me to do it. You know, if I'm filming or something, I can rely on my brothers to come by and help out if need be. And you know, like I said, without my wife, I don't get to do any of this when she's home by herself with 2 kids and, you know, juggling this and juggling that. So they enjoy it, but without them, it's not possible.
I'm also very fortunate in that same regard, but I do imagine that you do give a little bit of something back. I'm sure you hold your own in that family.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, when
You're
I'm not
a good guy, I have no doubt.
Absolutely. Takes a village.
It does, but it's so worth it. Every part of it. Can you tell us about your experience working on the holdovers and how that opportunity came to be?
Well, like I said earlier, my day job is I work at a private school. The holdovers takes place in a private school. So I had got an audition for it, and I submitted the audition. And one day I'm at work, and it was during the fall, so I happened to be, I had a back blower on, was taking care of some leaves or something, and I was behind the gym, and I looked up to the fire escape behind the gym and saying to myself, that looks an awful lot like Alexander Payne.
And you knew what he looked like?
Well, I knew what he looked like when I had seen him, you know, in interviews years before.
Sure.
I don't know what he looks like now, so very well could be him, you know, 10 years, 15 years older. So I wasn't sure if it was him. So in my head, I'm like, I would love to go talk to him, but I don't know if that's him. Let me email someone really quick, because I know the woman who brings people that are interested in renting the school. So you know, anytime a movie is interested or a commercial or something, that she's the person to go to. So, hey, by any chance, are you with Alexander Payne right now? And she said, yes, we just left the gym. So I start to run up, and he had gotten in a minivan and taken off. And she said, why? Did you want me to tell me that? I said, oh no, I just auditioned, or I submitted a tape for his movie.
So you were aware the movie was being made, or they were preparing to make that film at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the back of my head, I was thinking, wouldn't that be really cool if they decided to film at this private school? Because one of the scenes I was involved in had to do with the chapel, which is the building that we were walking out of. And the building that was next to the gym was our chapel. And I'm like, well, here it is right here, and had I known what ended up happening was when I went down for lunch about 20 minutes later, I checked my emails and there was an email saying, you have a callback, a director's callback with Alexander Payne tomorrow.
Okay.
Had I had that information 20 minutes earlier in my head, if I'd seen Alexander Payne and realized it was him, I immediately would have said, Mr. Payne,
I'll see you in an hour.
well, no, I would have said, throw out the line, hey, what are you doing with our Christmas tree? And I just would have thrown my dialogue back. And because I was literally, what I'm wearing in the movie is what I was wearing at work that day. They liked what I had on, so they said, just wear that.
Oh my God.
And I was in my head, I'm like, that would have been a really cool story. So it didn't work out exactly like that. But the next day, when I went in and met Alexander Payne, he said, I understand we almost crossed paths yesterday. And I said, yes, we did. I was working at the school and I saw you out back. And from there, we did the audition. And
maybe it's good to know that you didn't have that interaction and that you got the opportunity strictly based on your talent and the audition you would put in.
Exactly. Yes.
Let's play the clip. It's very short clips on your reel that I have stolen. Here it goes.
Hey, what's up with the townies? Hey, what are you doing with our Christmas tree?
Who sold it back to us? Scotch pine, still fresh.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What can I do for you, Chief?
I'm looking for a tree.
Well, you came to the right place. Big fire sale on all remaining inventory.
Again, you just have that natural, you just fill out the world. It's so real. I know for me, I have, and I know there's no small roles, but I had the smallest role anyone had in this movie. My credits on screen longer than me. So I know how important being a part of this film was, but for you, what was this experience for you? For me, it was awesome.
Well, I mean, right off the bat, after I had the call back with Alexander Payne and the audition, I mean, you never know how they go. To me, it felt okay. I was happy with it. And then I don't know how long after it was, but I was sitting at home and I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. And working in the business, if you see a certain area code,
sure,
you want to answer it because it could be someone from production. Different phone number.
Yeah. I gotcha.
So I pick it up, and my last name Malvesti. If you translate that, I believe it means bad dress.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that because, like in French, it would be like bad jacket.
Yes. So he said the phone call. I say hello, and he goes, "Is this Mr. Bad Dress?" So I didn't get annoyed. I immediately thought, well, this person is witty,
smart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I said, I laughed and I said, yes, it is. And he said, this is Mr. Alexander Payne.
Wow. And
I was like, wow. And he said, I just want to let you know that we want you to be a part of the film. I wanted to welcome you and say,
that's so cool.
Here's my number. If you need anything, have any questions, any problems, any complaints, let me know. And we look forward to working with you. I've never had that happen before or after.
Do you still use that number? Like if you get a flat, hey, I'm on the side of the road. You said
only once.
That's so cool. That doesn't happen.
Unique. Yes, it doesn't happen ever. So getting to work on that, we shot at Deerfield Academy. To be able to go out there, meeting Dominic Sessa, who, when we had the table read, I noticed Dominic Sessa, out of everyone, never looked at his script once.
Wow. And
that impressed me. I let him know that impressed me, that I've never seen that before, to be completely off script and know that this is the first film he's been in. So to see him start, because he's got a few movies that are coming out, and I think he's very
big stuff. Yeah,
exactly. And then, to work with Alexander Payne, I've always loved his movies.
He's
big
great.
Fan, Sideways, Election. So to get to work with him, and then, to get to work with Paul Giamatti, these are people, when you think of movies coming here, you forget the possibilities of who you may have the chance to work with. So someone of his caliber, just kind of blew my mind, and the nicest human beings. I
Yeah.
wish I had some. No, I don't wish I had, but I wish there was you get bad experiences here and there. I've been lucky enough to have great experience, to have really good, directors to work with and co-stars that I've gotten the chance to work with. And they were absolutely 100% two of the best.
I think that that very much reflects on you. You just have this very warm, again, down to earth vibe that people. I don't think it would be very hard for you to have a bad experience because, again, and you look a little intimidating, though it's not at all who you are. You're just a very warm, soft person. But I think it would be hard to treat you poorly.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, everyone walks all over. It's horrible.
No.
I want to get to, actually, I want to ask you one other thing, because what the heck is this? But it's hilarious. What is this?
Oh, please don't take my cheese away. Please don't take my cheese away. Please don't take my cheese!
That's amazing.
Yes. That was a PETA ad for, was actually a Super Bowl ad that aired with the Super Bowl, but on YouTube, I believe.
Okay.
So that was another amazing experience to get. That was something that was rare that happened where I didn't audition.
Oh, that's great.
It was a company I had worked for a few years ago, and they were looking for someone like me, body type, intimidating type person.
Yeah.
So they just called me and asked me if I wanted to do it, and said what it was, and said who it was with, and who the director was. And I'm like, you had me at, would you like to do it? And I said, absolutely, any chance to get to work. Especially,
and who wouldn't have done that for free?
Yes, which I did, because it was a
because it was for PETA.
Exactly, it was for PETA. So I mean, just that, had to have that clip alone to get to work with those people. It's like, okay, I got something for my reel and more experience. I met more people.
I don't think I'd seen that before, but it's kind of brilliant. And
Yeah.
you're really good. You're so believable, and but you keep it so, I know the job is to keep it so straight, but it's a very kind of funny situation.
Yes, absolutely.
But really good. I want to talk to you about, for me, okay, we talked about the holdovers, which I know for both of us is a pretty high experience. But this next one, this show we're about to talk about, had 16 episodes in total. You were in 12 of them, and the show is called, do you want to tell them what the show is called?
The show is called Julia.
How did this come to be? And did this seem like a natural progression that you would land this opportunity after all the other ones? Because you are totally against type here.
I would never in my wildest dreams think that I'd be in Boston and land a recurring role on a TV show.
But you didn't know that's what it was when you first went out for it, right?
No. I'm trying to think. As usual, an audition came my way, and there were two parts. There was Benny, the cameraman, and Chaz, the lighting guy. I read for both of those. And after I submitted that, there were some smaller roles here and there that I read for. And then one day I got a call from Lisa Lobel from Boston Casting, and she said they're very interested in you for Benny. And I said, great. And then she said they want to see your availability. And then they got a hold of me later and said they want to pin you. And from there we went. And I was thinking,
did you think it was one episode at that point, or what did you think?
I thought it was only a couple episodes, but then when they sent me the block and they said, no, you're recurring. They said, you're her head cameraman. Anytime they are filming the show, you're right there front and center. So I thought I'd just be a guy behind a camera. And
which would be fine.
Exactly. Yeah. And then every once in a while they threw some lines my way, or they rewrote something and put me here and put me there. There were a couple instances in season 2 where there was a role for a different character, but that actor was unavailable. they had to film something else and couldn't make it. So they said, let's
Give it to
throw
Benny.
Benny in that spot. So it gave me, which was,
Wow.
I think almost a full episode that it ended up being a couple of great scenes. So that, I mean, filming, as you know, filming that series was just an unbelievable blessing. The amount of directors I got to work with, the actors I got to work with, because I mean,
Wow, yeah.
David Hyde Pierce and BB Newworth, I grew up watching them and being on a first name basis with them, and then just getting to watch Sarah Lancashire work.
She's amazing. She's the best of the best.
Yes, it's literally a masterclass every day you walk in, and you get to sit there and watch that. And I got to remind myself to do that, to kind of be there, be present, watch and pay attention to everything. Talk to as many people as you can. Pay attention to what people do. You know, just watch the other actors, not just how they act on set. Learn to be around other actors. Learn, you know, just to what to do in that space, and just everybody was amazing. Which, after I heard that you had been cast, not knowing they were talking about you, getting to listen to them discussing something and then putting two and two together and hearing David Allen Pierce talk about what a phenomenal actor you were.
That's so sweet. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you.
No, 100%. And the production said, well, we're not so much we're wasting a performance, but you know, as I'm sure as the people that watch your show know, you played David Hyde Pierce's twin. So you got to act back and forth. So that's a testament to your character, how you are, your acting skills, where they said, we can't not put him in the show. And they, you know, they cast you in a completely different part.
I'd have to thank Lisa Lobel for that, for the whole thing, as for you as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was just, it's something I wouldn't even dream of having. And I hope I enjoyed it as much as I should have, because now I'm going to be expecting, when's the next 12, 14 episode show I'm going to be a part of?
That's why it's so extraordinary. It's like you said, I've worked on lovely sets, but that was the loveliest. Everyone was so great. And you were so welcoming. We didn't get to really be on set together, but we, you know, it was just knowing that you were part of that team was really, really nice. So
yeah, they were great.
There will be more. I wanted to ask you, because you were saying that, actually I didn't, hold on, let me play the clips really fast from that. And they're really short. Your reel does not show how much a part of this show you were. But here is what is on your reel.
Oh, Benny. Let me take a look at you. Have you lost weight?
Just the way they put on last season.
Not for long, then.
Spices.
And what are these? I'm glad you asked. I took a pure pork sausage that I made myself, and I've nestled it inside America's favorite snacking cake.
Whoa. What do you call them?
It's so good. So good. But there's so much more. There's so much more that you did on there.
So
we should look at your footage, because I think more should be in your reel for that particular show.
Yeah. I'd love to put it all. I should just have a separate Julia
reel. Yeah. Yes. So you said that you strictly work in the Boston market.
Yeah.
I know you have your day job, you have your family. Do you want to pursue other markets? Do you find, because I don't mean this in any way at all, but you are very much a Boston guy.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like a Boston guy. So I wonder, do you have hesitation to reach to a different market because you find maybe that would be more difficult? Or what? What is your reasoning to staying just local?
Well, I did reach out. I had an agent for a year. I believe she was new in being an agent. She moved on to be a manager. Probably a month or two after my contract expired.
Okay.
So I did look for an agent for a while, and so I had one for a year, and I don't know enough about it to really gauge what kind of experience I had. I don't know what was right, what was wrong. I booked a few things when I had her, and she did get me a lot of auditions in New York, which is what I want, but I didn't book any of them.
You'd be so perfect for like Law and Order and stuff like that. I think you should be going out for those.
And that's what I mean. The ultimate goal is, to absolutely go for those. I mean, I'll work wherever someone thinks I fit into their project. It's just a matter of getting a good agent and getting my stuff out there. I mean, the ultimate dream is for people to see your work and say, hey, I want that guy, which, I mean, it's happened to me a couple of times, like the Super Bowl ad that you showed. That was because I worked with them on another ad about 5 or 6 or 4 or 5 years before that. And then that same ad that I worked on, it's basically the title of the ad was Masshole. And I was just a guy sitting in a bar and talking about all things Massachusetts, but the ad ended up being about I believe it was vote yes on 3.
We bang Hueys wherever we want. No blinker. We cut you off on the pike, and then we slow it right the fuck down. And the second that light turns green, I'm honking.
Spoken like a true masshole.
We use our grandmother's furniture to save our parking spots. We drop our R's and put them back in words that don't even have them. Manhattan clam chowder? The fuck is that? In New York sports teams?
Already golfing.
17 years, 10 championships.
11.
We'll still find something to bitch about on sports radio, and we'll remind you who the fucking GOAT is every 5 minutes. We cross the street wherever we want, because I'm a fucking pedestrian, and this is where I'm crossing. Yeah. We're massholes, but we're no assholes.
That went viral in New England. It didn't go viral in the country. It went viral in New England. I had so many people sending me the ad. I didn't know where it was going to go, what was going to happen. But I'm not going to remember his name.
I'll forgive you.
Jeffrey, I can't remember his last name, but he's local. He's from here. He's an amazing actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff. He saw that ad because obviously his friends from back home sent it to him, but he was coming to Massachusetts to film the movie Honest Thief.
Okay.
And he sent it to the director, and he said, "These are my people." And
that's so cool.
Said, "Well, let's get him in our movie." So they took me on for the cop role that I ended up playing, opposite, Liam Neeson. So, I mean, that's obviously the dream, is for the work you do to get you more work, for people to say
the next thing.
Exactly. I want, that was great work. I want that in my project. So until that happens, yes, I have to look for an agent, but right now it's my kids are 13 and 15.
Yeah.
So they're at they're in high school. One's about to go in high school. One's been there. So they're going to be transitioning. So I got to be around for that.
Those moments are so fleeting. So yes, be around for that. I totally agree.
And that's the thing about acting, is it's not going anywhere. Well,
it did.
Yeah. But I mean, eventually, if I want, I can go where the acting is. Once the girls are out and they're in either college or they're, graduating.
You're going to want to busy yourself. Believe me, mine left a couple of weeks ago and it is quiet here. I don't like it.
So that's something I can still pursue if I want to.
Sure.
But right now I'm content with being able to audition for because they always say auditioning is the job.
Absolutely.
Booking the role is icing on the cake. So as long as I keep auditioning for whatever comes near here or whatever's thrown my way, I'm content with that, because 10, 15 years ago, I didn't see myself doing this. I was mowing lawns and shoveling snow and watching movies and not thinking about this. Now I'm actually part of it. So every other, I'll keep seeing stuff that inspires me and pushes me along. And if that flame ever goes out, something always sparks it right back up. And I know that I can keep, it's not like sports. You get to a certain point in sports where you're done. You can't do it anymore. Acting, they're going to need young people. They're going to need old people.
Exactly. I mean, you played grandpa at like age 11. So
see, exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing your acting experience. I want to move into, do you have any advice, any recommendations for up and coming actors, things that you wish you had known or anything?
Oh, that's a lot of stuff I wish I had known.
Me too.
The one thing you just have to be persistent. I'm going to butcher the old saying, but I'm not even going to try.
Make it your own.
But I mean, yeah, I'm saying I'm lucky enough to do this stuff, but persistence and, hard work, that's what luck ends up being, where, yeah, you get lucky enough because you've worked hard, you've been persistent, you're getting the auditions, and then sooner or later, those auditions are going to work out where, because you never know why you don't get something. It could be your look. It could be your accent. It could be what you're wearing. It could be because the casting director or the director or whoever had a bad day that day. You never know. That's why the one thing you got to learn to do is you got to learn to have a thick skin. And you go in, you do the audition, you prepare, you work hard so you're ready to go into that room. And then everything else is out of your control. Once you realize everything's out of your control, then my favorite thing to say is on to the next one. Whether it's filming something or doing an audition, you go in there, you do it, on to the next one. Because some of my friends will say, "Oh, didn't you audition for something? Did you get it?" And I'm like,
people not in the industry always ask those questions. You're like, I usually not going to get it.
Yeah. I'm on to the next one. I'm waiting for the next audition. They're like, "Well, aren't you curious to find out if you got it?" Like,
sure.
They could call me a week later. They could call me 6 months later. You never know if you get it or when you get it. So once you learn how to go in there, do the work, because that's always the work, is the audition. Do the work and just let it go. Move on to the next one. Take another class. Wait for the next audition. Then it'll get easier. Just get used to the answer no and doing your job and moving on to the next one.
Just roll with it. I mean, I think the unknowns are the worst and the best part of the business. Like not knowing why you didn't get it or what's around the corner. Like that's exciting. It's just not knowing. It just pulls at you both ways. So just going to stay in the middle and wait for those next opportunities and be ready for them. Do you have any hocus pocus, anything you like to do to prepare yourself when you get on set and just to make sure you're in the right zone to perform that day?
I'm the type of person I need to be left alone. I try to be social, but sometimes if I'm prepared and I know the lines, I know the dialogue, if I just start having a conversation, sometimes it'll go. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. So no, I just try to stay focused. Then we get closer to shooting, focus on what we're doing. I try to, be as cordial as I can, but it all depends on what you're filming that day, whether or not how social I can be. I always try to be cordial. I'll never, be a jerk to anyone like that. But the one trick, there was an acting teacher I had. This isn't for on set, could be on set, but I used to use it in auditions. Is whenever you go to auditions, you always have people in that room that like to talk to you. And an old acting teacher of mine, Peter Kelly, said to me, because I said I go to auditions and everyone, some people they concentrate, some people they just want to talk your ear off and tell you about all the projects they've been in. So you want to focus. And he said, you put your headphones in. I'm like, yeah, but I can't listen to music or anything like that. That'll throw me off. He goes, I never even told you to plug in your headphones. He said, just put them in your ears and have that wire going into your pocket. They don't know you're not listening to anything. They see the headphones, they leave you alone. And I said,
when we had wires.
Yes, exactly. I still have wires. What you have right now, I can't use those.
I just got them.
Fall out.
Oh, I got the new ones. My wife just got them for my birthday. When you're my age, you'll get them. But that's great advice. They put up that wall. It's like when I would go for an audition in New York City when they used to be in person, I'm like, it's so hard to like find a corner to hide in to rehearse in the streets of New York. So I used to like hold my phone to my ear and just like be saying these lines like, yes, we found the body last night at 2 p.m. or whatever. So I'm sure people heard that, like, who's he talking to?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Just but luckily everything's self-taped now, so we don't have either of these problems.
And that's when things started to pick up for me, when self-tapes happened, because I had a couple of self-tapes before COVID, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have the equipment. I didn't know what I was doing. And then once COVID hit and someone mentioned that everything may be self-tapes, the first thing I did was figured out my camera, figured out lights, figured out a spot, figured out how to edit, figured out how to use my computer, figured out how to do all that stuff. So, and then I started recording just mock auditions. I would pick scenes.
Wow.
And I would do a monologue or have a friend read a scene with me to get ready for it. And it was the best thing I ever did, because I get nervous when I go into a room.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what's going to throw me. I get it.
Exactly. Because like I was saying before, the person you're reading with could be having a bad day and not giving you anything, because the person you read with is monotone sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
or eating their lunch and not looking at you. Yeah.
I've had that happen. Absolutely.
Sure.
So when self-tapes started happening like that, I took full advantage, because I can just sit here in my space and do it over and over and over again until I feel comfortable. And then that's what you submit. And then the lesson taken out of that is, if we ever go back to in person, that I can sit here, I can do it over and over and over until I'm comfortable, and then I'll be ready once I have to go in that room.
Yes.
As opposed to before, it was I'd get the sides and be like, I have an audition, let me memorize my lines, and I wouldn't sit down and have kind of a ritual on what to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Self-tapes give you that ritual now.
That is great advice, because especially when we are talking self-tapes, there's no excuse to don't have the lighting, the equipment, and the editing right. Like, those are obviously that takes some practice. You got to, get comfortable with those things, but don't let that be an excuse for them not to cast you. Let it be about the acting. Don't distract them with the simple stuff that we have control over.
Absolutely.
So
Exactly.
This brings me to your kiss and tell, and your word was hat. What is your kiss and tell?
Well, this ties back into the first big project I got to work on, which was The Town. When I showed up to set, was in a warehouse in, I forget where it was, Charlestown, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed up, and my scene, the main actors were Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went to film, I'm nervous because it's Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, and I have no lines, but I'm dressed in my full guard uniform, and there's guns and all this stuff involved. And I'm, like I said, I have no lines, but I'm still nervous.
Of course.
So
it's a new experience.
Exactly. So I'm like, am I out of my league? And like, what if they give me a line? Because one of the other actors, they threw him a line. And I'm like, what if they do that to me? So I even got more nervous. They didn't end up throwing a line my way, but it still got the adrenaline pumping. And I'm kind of just like in my head, this is big. Am I out of my league? Do I know what I'm doing? And at one point they're doing the scene, and Jeremy Renner and Ben Affleck were going back and forth, and they were improvising some lines. And they said, well, let's do something along the lines of, let's do one from the script, and then we'll go off a little bit. And I saw Jeremy Renner lean back, take his hat off, look into his hat, pull out his sides, flip, put it back in, put the hat back on. When I saw that made me realize, here I am thinking, oh, these guys know their lines, they're off book, they're this, they're that, everything's so natural. I'm like, he may have known the lines, but he still had questions.
He had a safety net.
He had a safety net hidden right in his hat. Watching the movie, I never would have thought of that. And that put me at ease. Just think, I wouldn't say, oh, these guys are just like me, but no, in a way they were. He needed to cheat. He had the cheat sheet right there. So it's all right to be nervous. It's all right to have to
Absolutely.
and access that. So it kind of put me on that mindset where I'm like, oh, okay, so this isn't a perfect system where, the A-list actors are off book and ready to go and they can do this scene backwards, forwards. But they may have just walked in that day and said, what are we shooting today? Okay, let me take a look at the lines. Because Jeremy Renner had just the movie, I think it was The Hurt Locker, had just come out. He was amazing. That was huge.
That was a huge breakout. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So to see him do that, and then also to see Ben Affleck, sometimes behind the camera. One of the days we were working, he was sick, and he was upset the Red Sox had lost to the Yankees. So it's like these guys are, just
human.
like me. They're human beings that, same thing. So being able to work on that was huge, but being able to experience that, like you just said, they're human, just like you. That kind of put me at ease and was like, all right, this is
it helps you push that imposter syndrome aside, which I know creeps up in me from time to time. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're human too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, our brains aren't always right on top of things, and that's okay.
Exactly. 100%.
We've seen people at all levels, stumbling over lines. Everyone gets cut is another thing that always comes up on here. Yep. Do you have well, I think we've discussed most cherished moments, but do you have a dream opportunity, something that would just be the opportunity? What would it be?
Well, if we're gonna go full circle, it almost happened, or half of it, but
I think I know what you're gonna say.
It would be to be in a movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
I was gonna say Harrison Ford. Damn it.
Well, see, now with that, I would still look at that and say that would be out of my reach because I only work in this market. If Harrison Ford was to ever travel here, then that
might happen.
Yeah, could happen. And I won't happen, but something like that would push me to want to get an agent and want to, branch out.
Sure.
Maybe someday I could be a guest star on Shrinking.
That would be amazing.
And then me and Harrison Ford would, get to work together. But yeah, it would be.
I feel you already won working with Ben Affleck, though, and not Matt Damon, but close enough.
Oh, but I mean, to say just to be full circle, to be able to work. Yeah. Oh, I tell you, the ultimate project would have been there was a movie, The Instigators.
Oh yeah,
Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. I auditioned for a few. What's that?
Directed by Doug Liman.
Yes,
a couple of years ago. Yeah,
who directed Swingers, which that's another influential movie for me. Which goes right up there with Good Will Hunting. But yeah, with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, I auditioned for that. But the big thing that would have been for me was because in the movie, I'm originally from Quincy, Massachusetts, which my grandfathers and my father were Quincy firefighters and Quincy cops. Yeah. So in the movie, there are Quincy cops. It takes place in Quincy. So the ultimate thing would have been to have been in a movie with Matt Damon and the other Affleck, Casey Affleck, which is still great.
Yeah.
To play a Quincy cop. So I never made it to be a Quincy cop, but on film with Matt Damon, I would have played a Quincy cop. I auditioned for that stuff, didn't get it, but that would have been a cool kind of full circle moment to be able to do the job I was going for, to be a Quincy cop. Now, not only do I get to play a cop on TV or film, I get to play a Quincy cop. And I believe if I had gotten the role I auditioned for, I would have outranked my father. So
that would have been funny if you would have bossed him around.
Exactly.
I think it almost looking at you, because I was thinking earlier that you have, and I don't mean this in any negative way at all, a comic book version of a cop. Like you look like how a comic book cop would be drawn. And I wonder if on the Instigators, hiring you would have been too on the nose because you just look the part. I think they wanted a lot of real cop guys, but you're so real in everything you do. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Well, anything you want to promote, talk up, or say before you depart?
Well, beginning of this year, I got to work on an independent film, which I don't believe has distribution yet.
Mhm.
Um, I believe the final title they went with was "As I Am,"
As I am.
which, when you work in independent films, you're never sure how things are going to come out.
Sure.
Uh, I mean, it could be great, or it could be, handheld
Not
camera.
great.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I got the chance to see a screening of it, and I was 100% blown away
Oh,
at
good.
how amazing it looked. It wasn't
Awesome.
a finished product yet, but it looked fantastic. So I'm always any project I'm involved in, I'm excited about, but I'm very excited about this. Um,
And you're happy with your work in it in that regard too? Like, this is something
yeah,
I want people to see?
I played a surprisingly enough, I played a cop.
What? But
Exactly.
they're not all the same character. It's just
They're not, though.
Yeah, they're not.
At all. And that's one of the things, not to go off on a little tangent, that's one of
No,
the things
please.
my agent and I bumped heads with on occasion. She said, "You play a lot of cops. We're gonna get away from that." And she said, "Well, we're gonna look at lawyers and dads and this and that." And I said, "That's great. I'm all for doing that, but let's not get too far away from playing cops because I just love acting. If they want me to play,
Yes.
I'm gonna play a cop." So
And it's
eventually,
more fun than lawyers and doctors.
exactly. I have no problem trying to play them. If they can see me as that, great. But if they see me, no, we see him as the cop. Don't say no. Say,
I
hey, it's work. We're gonna do work.
Typecasting can be good and it pays.
Exactly. So I did that independent movie, and then I was lucky enough to, let's just say, an Apple TV show.
Oh, so you may have booked an Apple TV show. I may have booked an Apple TV show as well.
Yes. I got to work, I believe it ends up being 3 episodes.
Oh, that's great.
And it was a unique experience, very secretive experience.
Yes, hence
But
why we're being so secretive.
yes. I had a blast working on it. It was another set that was kind of just like Julia. Everybody was great. Didn't get a chance, obviously, as much as I worked on Julia, but I'm excited about it. It's piqued my interest. I don't know a lot about it. Don't know
I
if
don't
you
either.
Exactly. I only know what I filmed, and it was fun.
I think it's going to be cool. I was their very first scene on their very first day
Really?
of filming. So they were just building that camaraderie amongst themselves. So it was sort of nice not to come into their Thanksgiving dinner and just start, kind of start the thing with them.
Yes.
But it seems like a cool project. Everyone check out everything Apple TV is putting out in the next year or two, and you will see us eventually if you find the right project, which we can't tell you about.
Yes, exactly.
But congrats on that. And I
Thank
can't wait to see you in that mystery program. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. I'll see you soon. Oh, anytime. I appreciate you coming.
I love what you do. I will say one thing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing, you said if there was advice that I could have had or what I wish I had known back then, if I had your show back then, it would have made things so much easier.
Wow, thanks, man.
You don't have this information. To find that, one of the things I look for the most was to look at local actors and to get to know them, their projects, and kind of talk to them and find out how they got where they got, no matter what it was. No matter
Everyone has a different path, a different journey.
Exactly.
You encouraged me from the beginning of this, so I really appreciate your support while I've been doing this.
Well, it's well deserved. Like I said, if I can give another actor anything, another local actor, I would say watch this show, and this will give you all the advice and all the stories you need to kind of move forward. Then it's up to them to put the work in, but you can only give them the advice. So I appreciate that you do this. This would be what I wish I had back then.
Thank you so much. Well, I guess we'll end on that. Listen to Michael Malvesti. Watch this episode. Check out his career. Again, watch Apple TV for the next 2 years nonstop. Check out his work on IMDb. And like, share, tell your friends, and return again. And then Michael Malvesti will come back in 10 years to tell us what else he's been doing. But thank you again for your time. Stand by for 1 second. Goodbye, everyone else.
These are the parts